Welcome to the Unfolding Object. My name is John Simon, and I'm the artist who was commissioned by the Guggenheim Museum in 2002 to create this software internet artwork. We'll start with the basics of Unfolding Object. When you first bring up the screen, you see a rectangle, and inside it a smaller square. The colors of the rectangle and square are determined by the hour of the day that you look at the piece, so it's programmed to change during the day. When you roll over the unfolding object, the cursor turns to a hand, and you can click on the square top, left, bottom, and right, and when you do, it begins to unfold. Here I'm going to unfold in all those directions, and what you'll notice immediately is that the pages that unfold have these markings on them. Those are hash marks. They're counters for how many people have visited the page. So a horizontal line is 1 person, a vertical line is 10 people, left to right diagonal is 100, and right to left diagonal is 1,000. So you can see many people have visited these pages, and they will continue to count up as we go. Sometimes the counters get outside the page. The shape of the page is determined at the moment you click the mouse. So as you go back and unfold, even if you unfold along the same path, the shapes that you encounter in the pages will be different. So here you can see not only are the colors slowly getting brighter as we unfold page after page, but the number of hash marks, the count, is getting lower and lower because fewer and fewer people have come out. Now only a handful of people have gone along this path. This is about 4 people. And now we've reached a page by going right, 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 up, right, up, left. There's a page that no one has ever visited. But if we come back along this path, the next time we'll see 1 hash mark representing our visit. So every time you play with Unfolding Object, it's a little bit different. 1, because the page shapes change. 2, because the hash marks increment, go up. And 3, because you don't always click the same paths. So here we've gone very far to the right, but we can always come back to any page and open it up and create our own composition. After we reach a page where no one's visited, the colors go back to dark and eventually reach black. So now that I've explained some of the basics of how the unfolding object works, what I've done is wait a few hours, and now you can see that the colors have shifted. So I'm going to unfold this object and tell you a little bit about some of the influences that were around in 2002 when I programmed it, and some of the ideas that I had, what I was trying to go for. I had completed, previous to this, a project called AlterStats, and the idea in AlterStats was that with the internet and with code, because software art has a memory, unlike video art, a software object could be created online that could be interacted with simply by calling up the page, simply by looking at it. And I was thinking about the measurement problem in physics, how we can't make a measurement without changing the object that we're measuring. And so I wanted a software object that would reflect this. And AlterStats does that, and Unfolding Object does that as well. So when you come, the first person that came to this and unfolded the first page changed the whole object so that it was different now with the first hatch mark. And every time you open a page, you change it. So the object has this trace of its use. It can't be looked at without being altered. And I really like that quality of the piece. Another influence was David Bohm, the physicist, who talked about the enfolding and unfolding universe and how space was enfolded. He also spoke in terms of speaking and writing. He said words are not chosen one by one, but many words seem to be enfolded in any given momentary intention, and those words emerge in a natural order, which is also enfolded. So he saw this kind of encoding in the voice and in nature. And think about how we speak. We say, "How did your day unfold?" or "Let's see how things unfold." So we talk about situations in terms of their potential and how that potential is realized. And this object embodies that, because the code is written in such a way that all possible compositions that this can make are already encoded into the object. Like the oak tree is encoded into the acorn, and the particular situation, the amount of light, the amount of water, the type of soil, determine how that unfolds. So where you click determines how this unfolds, but the potential is there for any set of unfolding. Another influence was Deleuze, who was a writer, philosopher, and he talked about aesthetics a lot. And he wrote this: a model for expression in contemporary aesthetics, the concept of the monad, which I think of as that beginning square, is viewed in terms of folds in space, movement, and time. Similarly, the world is interpreted as a body of infinite folds and surfaces that twist and weave through compressed time and space. So a kind of a view of space and time that's a kind of a relativist view, that none of the things, that the potential is there in the beginning, but none of the things really exist until they're unfolded, and that's this kind of spatial and temporal unfolding that goes on. And so, yeah, this could be pages that fill the entire screen, but none of it happens until we click. None of it exists until we bring it into space and time. And of course, my work is influenced by Paul Klee, who wrote about how drawing is defined by the cosmogenic moment, when the symmetry of the blank page is broken by the first mark, the first decision. And this is that kind of cosmogenic moment, this beginning symmetric square within a rectangle. And the drawing evolves as the unfolding of all the decisions. This is, in a way, a diagram of all the decisions that I've made, and all the decisions that have been made by people who have also gone to these pages. And so it sits in that idea of Paul Klee, that the drawing is a kind of unfolding thing. And also by Kandinsky, who did a lot of work in using planes in space, and geometric planes in space, and abstract planes in space. And so this is certainly a composition of that sort as well. So those are some of the thinkers that I was looking at, and some of the ideas that I was playing with as unfolding object came along. And it seemed to me to be a way to reveal potential and allow everyone interacting with it to have an active part in its construction and assembly, and a lasting record of that. So I hope you enjoy playing with it and unfolding it, going layer and layer, filling it out to black, and finding all the little nuances that are there and how it unfolds. And of course, each time a little bit different. Thank you very much.